Welcome to Microsoft Excel 2010, Lesson 6 with Megan Reese. In this lesson, we'll be learning how to create 5 different types of charts in Excel. Unlike all the other lessons we've done thus far, this lesson will take you through step by step and show you how to do the actual assignment. However, I will be telling you and prompting you when to pause so that you can follow the directions and then come back and we'll continue on with the lesson. To start out, we're going to learn how to make all these different charts, and you'll see that there are sheets at the bottom for each type. We're going to do a pie, a bar, a column, a line, and a composite chart, which combines 2 different types of charts. I also want you to create a new slide by clicking on this button here to insert a new worksheet. Double-click on it and change the name to Graphs. You're going to be saving all of your completed charts to this sheet, and this is the only sheet that you will actually print. So what I also want to do is add a name to it. So I'm going to go to Insert, Header and Footer. You'll notice that let me scroll back up, it changes my view now so I can see my edges, which you already know. And this time I want you to keep it in this view, because as you're adding graphs, it's important that you see exactly where the edge of the page is. So keep it in this view, but do change the layout to landscape. Please pause the video now and complete the instructions just given. Now let's go ahead and get started on our first chart, which is the pie chart. And we're starting with the pie chart because in a lot of ways it's the simplest chart. But there are a couple things you need to understand about it in order to know why you would pick a pie chart over the other charts that we have. The first requirement for a pie chart is it can only have one set of data. Right now I have some personal expenses for the month of June. I have all the bills that I have to pay and how much I pay them, and then the total of what I paid in bills. This is an easy enough thing to graph. However, for an example, if the graph looked like this and I had June and then I had July and I was comparing, okay, and I had basically 2 sets of data, I couldn't use a pie chart for this because pie charts cannot do two months, can only do one. If you graphed it, it would just ignore the second half and it would still just do June. So understand that if I was doing a column chart, I could have June, July, August, forever, but I can't do that with a pie chart. The other requirement for a pie chart is to understand that it has to be a part of the whole. You are showing slices of a pie, which means that all these numbers added up should equal the total number. So if I'm showing number of deaths in these different categories, and I don't account for the entire number, if I just show, well, 20 died of this and 50 died of this and 40 died of this, but there's actually 500 people, it's not going to be a pie chart unless I can account for all 500 people in the survey. So it's very important that you understand that when you do a pie chart. So the first thing you need to do when you make a chart is highlight it, which seems like it would be really simple, but it can be kind of picky. Okay, if you highlight something that you don't need, Excel will not work. So I'm going to highlight all of this. So I have my title and I have the total, and I'm going to go to Insert Pie and pick a pie chart, and you'll see it didn't work. The reason why is I'm highlighting unnecessary information. It doesn't need the title and it doesn't need the total. If you think about a pie chart, where would the title go? Where would the total number go? The pie chart itself is the total number, so we need to leave that out. So I'm actually going to highlight this without the title June and without the total and go to Insert Pie. Now I went really quick through this a minute ago, but let's take a look at this. You have several options here. Honestly, these 2, I have never really used them. I would avoid them. I'm sure they have their special purposes, but for most pie charts, in fact, let me show you, doesn't necessarily make a whole lot of sense. So I'm going to leave that one out and just pick either I like the 3D one. This is the one I usually pick. So we'll do this 3D chart. And then the next step is a step that students always forget. I don't know why my students always forget to do this step, but that's how to add your title and your format. It's just kind of picked a random format for me, but I actually have all these different layouts that I can choose from. The first thing you really want most of the time is to include a layout that has a percentage. That's one of the main reasons we do a chart, is so that we can see what percent. So I can see that 49% of my income is going to my mortgage. So those are the kind of things you want to look at. You can pick which one you want. It also gives you your title. So I'm going to go into my title and call it June Expenses. Also note that in your assignment, it actually tells you to pick chart layout 6. They're not actually labeled. Oh, they are labeled. Okay, so layout 6 right here, that's the one that I want you to have this one in. So make sure we get that right. Please pause the video now and complete the instructions just given. And now we need to pick a chart style. Okay, don't get layouts and styles confused. Layout is just, how it looks on the page. But style is the the color scheme basically. So I'm going to pull this down, and you can go through and do it by hand, and we'll learn that on one of the future ones. But for now, just pick one of these styles that you like, and you can see they're all kind of different. But once you've picked the style that you want, we're going to go ahead and move this to the graph tab. And the way I do that is make sure my chart tools is on. If you're off of chart tools and you can't find it for whatever reason, okay, it's right there, the little green thing that says chart tools. I'm going to click on that, go to move chart, and choose graphs and click OK. So now I'm on my graph sheet. I'm just going to move it into the corner. Okay, I'm going to be fitting 3 graphs on this page. You'll actually do it on 2 pages, 3 graphs on this page and 3 down here. So there's my first one. Please pause the video now and complete the instructions just given. Okay, for the second part, we're going to go into bar charts, and we're actually going to do 2 different types of graphs from this information. So I got this information. This is real information on the U.S. Census 2012 and 2007, how many people own dogs, cats, birds, and horses. You're supposed to do a class survey to find out who in this class has those numbers. So do a quick survey on dogs, cats, birds, and horses. If you're not doing that format, you're not doing a class survey, just enter the numbers that I have here, which I just made up, or you can make up your own if you want. So I've got dogs, cats, birds, horses, and then whoever's left, no pets. So let's say that that's what I get. When you enter that, these numbers will automatically come up, and they'll automatically be plugged in up here. Okay, so all you have to do is enter these numbers. So when I delete them out, it looks like that. So once those numbers are entered, we're going to do a graph up here, and we're going to do a graph down here. Please pause the video now and complete the instructions just given. So the first one we're going to do is this one. We're going to highlight all the types of animals and all the information. Again, no extra anything. And we're going to go to Insert, Bar, and choose whatever type of bar chart you would like. And then we're going to go ahead and add Chart Layout Tool 1, or Chart Layout 1. We're going to add our chart title, which is going to be Percentage Pet Owners. And then we're going to enter and do a subtitle, which was by pet type. And I'm going to highlight that and make it a little bit smaller. I just like to use this button here instead of choosing an actual size. Please pause the video now and complete the instructions just given. Now the next thing we're going to do is called switching the row and column data. So I'm going to click on my chart, make sure your chart tools is up, and you'll see there's a button right here that says switch row column data. So when I click on that, notice that right now the legend is showing me 2007, 2010, this class. When I switch it, now it's got horses, cats. It's just dividing it differently. This is now going by year as all grouped together. And I can see that in 2007, here's horses, here's birds, here's cats, here's dogs. So it's just changing the way that it looks on the page. Know that this doesn't always work. If I go back to this one we just did and I change the row, it's not going to work. Okay, it doesn't work on pie charts. But sometimes if it's not looking exactly the way you want, you might want to try that and see if you like the look better when you switch it. So once we've done that, there's one last thing we're going to do, and that is technically this graph might be a little misleading because it only goes from 0 to 50. So if you looked at this, oh, percentage pet owners, wow, everybody owns pets. No, actually less than 50% of U.S. households own pets. So this really should be out of 100. So I'm going to click on my axis so that it's highlighted the axis. I'm going to right click and go to Format Axis. And here I can change the size, like I can change the range. It'll just do it automatically unless you go in and fix it. So right now it's on auto, and the minimum is 0. That's fine. I want it to start at 0%. Then on the maximum, I'm going to change it from 50% to 100%, which would just be a 1. If you were going to do 80% or something, you'd have to do 0.8. So keep it in your decimals. But since it's 100%, just do a 1 and click Close. And now it makes a little bit more sense because I can see the 100%, and that's where they're actually at. So let's go ahead and move that chart to my graphs section. and put it right here. Now it's gone over onto a second page, so I'm going to grab the edge, drag it up a little bit. Please pause the video now and complete the instructions just given. All right, let's go on and move on to the second part of the bar chart. And this one, we're not going to highlight everything. All I want to know is my number, my animals, and the actual number. So we're just going to graph our class, okay? So we've got dogs, cats, birds, horses, and no pets, and then the numbers. And we're going to go to Insert Bar Chart again. Do a 2D bar, for sure. Then change your layout, and we'll just use layout 1 for this. And then your title should be Our Class Pet Ownership. And I also want to change the row column date on this one as well. I want to have the animals over here, and you'll see why. We're going to go ahead and change all of these columns to look different, okay? So please pause the video now and complete the instructions just given. I'm going to right-click on the, we'll start down here with dogs. I'm going to right-click on the dogs one. I'm going to right-click and go to Format Data Series. Now, understand that when I go to fill, I have all the same options I have in PowerPoint. If you've ever used PowerPoint, I can go to solid fill and I can change it to any color that I want. I can go to gradient fill. I can use their presets, or I can create my own gradient. I can do patterns, which look really great in graphs, where I pick the colors. So know that those are options, but we're not going to use those options for this particular assignment. We're going to go to picture and texture fill. Now here I could go get a picture that I've saved in my documents if I wanted, but we're going to do what's easier and go to clip art. And because this is dogs, type in the word dog. And you want to pick a picture that has a white background. Like, don't pick something like this. And you can pick whatever picture you want, but it looks better if it has kind of a white background to it. So I'm going to do this nice yappy chihuahua. Okay, click OK. So let's put the chihuahua in there, but it looks really creepy. So you can stack it like this. But what I'm going to do is stack and scale. And what that means is it's going to give me one picture for every person that voted for a dog. Okay. Now I don't have to close it. I can click on the next one up, which is cats, and do the same thing again. And I want you to do one for each one. Okay, so I'm going to type in cats. And again, make sure that you stack and scale. Okay, I went ahead and did the others. By the way, with bird, I found I had better results if I typed in parrot instead of bird, because then you get all kinds of birds. On the no pets one, that one's a little harder, because how do you show a picture of nothing? So what I did is in clip art, I typed in no sign. I think I did no sign or no, I can't remember. And you should be able to find a blank no sign. I had to go down a ways. You could use that one or these two. Again, you might have different stuff come up, but if you're using Word, you probably will get the same pictures I'm getting. There's a standard no sign right there. Stack and scale. So now I have my cute little graph showing individuals. And this is a more fun way to do it. You obviously wouldn't do this in a business setting. You might look a little silly, but you see it, things like this in geography books. Sometimes they'll have little pictures of people to show the number of people in something in population or whatever. So that's how they do it. Don't forget to move it over into your graph section. And I'm going to put this right here.